I asked a lot of questions of others, but I will tell you that I'm a mother of three sons, and they are about the same age as Isaiah in this film. So there are some things that were in the script for me to say, and I didn't need to add much change to it. I just needed to put the tone on it that I would say for my own sons when I'm wanting to challenge them, encourage them, but also give them a little bit of tough love that, it's time. It's time for you to step up and be the man that God has called you to be. So there's a lot from my own life I garnered, but then also even thinking about my mother-in-law who raised my husband and as a single mother. And had to have a lot of resilience and backbone to call her men, my husband and his brother, to call them into manhood. And so just remembering some of the things she told me about their upbringing were also very insightful and instructive as I prepared for this role.
Sure. The script was so beautifully written to the point where, again, like Priscilla said, we didn't have to add too much to it. But I know personally it was a thing where I had so much resemblance and I felt seen when I read the script and when I read the dialogue for Isaiah. And it was a thing where I wanted to make sure that I asked the Lord to express Himself through my heart, to be able to not just tell a good story, but for people to be impacted for His glory. So it definitely was a great opportunity. And I really loved the script when I first read it.
Sure. I think for me, my wife and I, we are, disciples. We pastored for about 2 decades. And so, that was the first thing that God told us to do is actually to deal with discipleship. So that's the core of who we are. So Joshua, I found that Joshua Moore and Cameron Arnett basically are the same person. And it's just the nuances, the aspects of the writing, as Aspen was saying, that really brought it to light. And so it resonated right away. The script just said, hey, this is who you are, this is what God sees you as, and it was a joy to do.
Well, I play someone coming into the salon. I'm actually a hairstylist and I'm a comedian, so it was just me breathing. So it was, I was like, oh, I get to do this and be funny. So yeah, it was just something I normally do. But yeah, and I enjoyed the experience of meeting the Kendrick brothers and seeing how they, maneuver and the behind the scenes.
Got it. I got
Thing.
it.
Yes, there we go.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. This film impacts the generation, and I just want to know what does it feel like to know that this movie on discipleship and just leading everyday people to Christ, what does that mean to you all? Because you definitely did a phenomenal job, and you can tell that God was all over it.
I'm gonna
Excitement of being in the room with other people that are hearing and seeing this on screen and realizing that it's not just a film that's a good film that's being shown, but it's actually God speaking to us and letting us know this is what He desired, that's why He left us here, and now we have a bird's eye view as to being able to be the disciples. It's almost like you're dealing with, here's what the word says to do. If we actually apply it, if a disciple applies it, and you have someone who's actually going to fulfill it, this is what it looks like. This is the results. And I think the relationship between Joshua and Isaiah is actually the picture form of what God intended. And so I just, I'm amazed that we had the opportunity to just put it on screen and for people to see.
Yeah, like Cameron said, it's such a beautiful depiction and it's very powerful because it shows, in a way, through the means of film, the message is portrayed as how God walks with us, how Jesus walks with us. He promised that He never leaves us or forsakes us. So it's just like in a point where Isaiah doesn't have the hope or sense of direction for his life, God sends someone to not only just pour into him, but also introduce him to Himself through that mentorship relationship. So it's really powerful.
I guess that when you ask, how does it feel to be a part of encouraging and inspiring and challenging people in this way on film, it does really feel staggering, and I feel an intense amount of gratitude, as I know the rest of the cast does as well, that, the Lord knows us. He knows our frailty. He knows our weaknesses. He knows that we don't necessarily have it all together, and yet He still would allow us to be a part of His purposes in this generation and in this unique way That there are some people who may never go to a church, they may never pick up a Bible, but they will go to a movie. They will get some hot, buttery, salty popcorn and go to a movie. And that they might be introduced to God, or that their life with Him might be sparked in a renewed way just because they sat in a theater and He's letting us partner with Him in that. There's an intense amount of gratitude that I have to Him for that.
Well, first of all, this was truly the Lord that put me in this film, and I am so grateful for that. And even to my sister Priscilla, she kind of helped, reached out to me, and really was a blessing to me throughout this process. I am so excited that this is a body of work that is anointed. We're able to allow the world can see the anointing in a movie theater. That just blows my mind. The Kendrick brothers, they don't play about the message of God. And I love that they're not sugarcoating anything. They're not, half stepping. And I love that about them. And I am so grateful that, well, to be a part of something like this that glorifies God and ministers to those that are lost in this season.